Welcome to Dirty Datini. I'm your host, Christina Kane. This is the unfiltered podcast that takes you through the dirty truth of dating, modern romance, relationships, and most importantly, self-discovery. Remember, love isn't always neat, and sometimes life is on the rocks, but it's sure worth the mess.
In this week's episode, I am catering to the men and I am letting you in on what you need to know about women. It is no secret that men and women are wired completely different, hence the book Men Are From Venus, Women Are From Mars. A man's efforts and communication may go unnoticed or not as well received as he intended because both male and females have their own language they best understand. Women can be difficult creatures. It is an art of understanding a woman, and the better you understand the art, the better you will be at understanding a woman altogether as a whole, and you'll just be setting yourself up for success in your connections and your relationships from here on out. So let me provide you on some insight and guidance for you men to better understand what women want in life and relationships. Woman, if you agree with this, leave your feedback with a comment in the review section. Let's get right into it. There's an importance of emotional connection when it comes to men understanding women. You have to understand men and women are different. And we are meant to be different. Women live life and communicate more emotionally, and men live life and communicate more logically. It's great for us to balance each other out, but when it comes to seeing eye to eye, it can cause a conflict. Hence, in discussions, women say, I feel, and men say, I think. Men are much more in touch with their logic and reasoning and express themselves more so throughout logic and reasoning, while women are much more in touch with their emotions and have a better time expressing throughout emotion. This can, at times, lead to conflict when trying to resolve an issue. But even though there is a difference in how men and women communicate, women ultimately want to feel listened to and understood. Men have a primal instinct to fix things. It is in a man's nature for when there is an issue to fix it. In their relationships, their work, their life, their personal life, all around 360, men want to fix things. Even if it is something as simple as a car not starting, they are going to try every single trick in their book to try to get that car to fix. And this also has to do with the male ego. They want to accomplish things. And only after every single attempt has failed may they outsource a professional. Men want to fix things. But when it comes to women, sometimes we don't want or need you to fix. Sometimes women just simply want you to really listen to them. That's all. Just listen. You do not have to offer a solution or an opinion. Unless that is what's asked of you, then of course offer a solution or opinion. But otherwise, just listen to us. Listen to us vent and make us feel heard by you. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Sometimes you may not know what the hell she's talking about and why she's so worked up over this certain situation, because to you, it's really not that big of a deal. But to her, it is. So nod your head and say, and just listen to her vent, because sometimes that's all she needs. If she asks for your opinion or your thoughts on a solution, then you can offer one. But I wouldn't necessarily always come in with a, well, why don't you do this? Or you should have done this. That's not really what she's after when she's venting to you. If she is, she will ask you for that. But if she does not ask you for that, sometimes offering it may rattle her wires a little bit more than you would expect. So now you kind of have a better understanding of what to do when she is venting to you and how to go about that. In addition to that, if emotions are high, and to you, she may be being over dramatic, but to her, she's not. So if emotions are high, for the love of God, do not tell a woman to relax. I'm not sure why, but this mentally and physically does the exact opposite to all women. There has to be a science behind it, because you tell a woman to relax and her level of passion goes from a 2 to a 12. And if she's really worked up and, you may feel it's justified to say, well, why don't you relax a little bit? Good luck. Sleep with one eye open. But sometimes women are really not that worked up. They're maybe like at a 2. And you say relax. And it's like, oh, you want me to relax? I'm not even being, dramatic. So it's just, for some reason, it's a trigger for us women. And I advise men to stay away from that word at all cost. And in relationships and in connections, women need you to understand how they think and feel. And while that may seem impossible to a lot of you, as men tend to tackle one feeling or thought at a time, while women can process multiple feelings and thoughts at once, us women are constantly running a data software of 1,000 tabs open, 4 frozen, and music in the background that we don't know where it's coming from. But yet we know how to work with that. And men, not so much. So understanding that that's how our minds work may help you understand how they feel, resulting in you to make them feel understood. And how do you feel understood? Or how do you make a woman feel understood? Open and honest communication. Be open and honest and transparent in your communication. Women are not mind readers. And while we can almost always sense something is going on with you, whether it is related to us or not, we cannot and should not assume. Assumptions are the death of relationships. We cannot read your mind on what the matter of the issue is. Women also should not have to pry it out of you. What's wrong? I can tell something is off. Can you just tell me what's wrong? If a woman comes to you and says, hey, I can tell something's going on. Do you want to talk about it? And she's giving you the floor is yours, and you still choose to not tell her what's wrong, then that's going to cause a lot of issues in your relationship, because you don't even feel comfortable and you don't even feel like you're in a safe space to where you can communicate what's going on. I don't think a woman should even have to necessarily come to you and say, hey, I can tell something's off. What's going on? I strongly believe that you should be mature enough and know how to communicate effectively, that you are just transparent and forthcoming. Maybe it's not the right time because you're in a public setting, but when you're in private with your partner, you should approach them and say, hey, I just want to talk about this. X, Y, and Z happened, and resolve it. Be open and forthcoming. But if a woman comes to you and asks you what's wrong, tell her what's wrong. Be open with your communication. And after her coming to you to ask you what's wrong, if you still can't communicate what is wrong, you have some work to do. When strong communication is involved in relationships flow much more seamlessly. A lot of people have issues, tension, and disconnect in their relationships, and their relationships are struggling because of that. They're withholding greatly communication, which is only going to cause more issues, tension, and a disconnect between you and your partner, or you and the girl you're hooking up with, or you and your fiance. Whatever the level of commitment is, it's just going to cause more issues than less. So be transparent with your communication. It makes the relationships sail so much smoother. You would be amazed what just having open and honest communication can do for your relationships. And that brings me to my next point. Do not ever lie. Because regardless of what it is, whether it's a flat out lie or a white lie, women know when you are lying. Us women, we were born and raised in the Central Intelligence Agency, okay? I don't make the rules. This is just where all our birth certificates are miraculously stamped. If you lie, we will know. And most women will all find out. A woman's intuition is far too strong to hear a lie and know that isn't right. After hearing a lie and the intuition kicks in, our hacking skills get right to work. Now, that is not to say that I think women should have to spy and pry to get to the bottom of a concern in a relationship. If you are in a relationship where you are constantly having to be a detective, then you need to A, work on your self-worth. You weren't brought into this world to be a 24/7 around-the-clock detective. And B, find a partner who makes you feel safe, that there is mutual trust, communication, and respect, so you don't feel like you have to play detective in your relationship. Because if you're having to play detective in your relationship, that is not much of a relationship. No one should be in a relationship where their lives evolve around finding out, what is he doing? Or is what he said entirely true? There is more to cover on that, which I am saving greater detail for a future episode, so stay tuned. When it comes to relationships, do not be afraid to communicate, and if you struggle with it, I recommend you to reflect on why you may struggle with it. Practice your communication, because that's the only way you're going to get better at it, and do inner work to resolve how you can overcome your lack or fear of communication. But regardless of those issues you may or may not have, never lead a woman on. It is a waste of her time. It is a waste of your time. It also is a selfish act because you know you're not interested in a relationship beyond what it is, which may be a casual hookup. So do not put preconceived notions out there for your relationship. Do not be in the gray area of your relationship. Make it very black or white. If you do not want a relationship, communicate that. If you want more for the relationship, communicate that. Be on the same page throughout the course of your relationship. Women are far more understanding than men give them credit for. When you are forthcoming with communication, women are understanding. It is only when it's weeks turned into months that you withheld this information after not being on what they may have thought was the same page for your relationship, for you to then drop the ball on them. This is where women get frustrated and annoyed. This is where you won't have a great reaction from a woman. This is where you will want to run for the hills. If you communicate clearly early on, there will be no misunderstanding and no confusion, resulting in a clearer mind and a more enjoyable experience for both parties involved in the relationship. Additionally, women are self-conscious. It is a gender-wide known fact. The media does nothing to help and support women who are self-conscious. The media makes it more challenging for one to love the skin that they're in, with petite-sized females we see in Hollywood, to the clear, plump, contoured skin we see on magazines, to the Instagram models that come up on our Explore page. We live in a world of comparison, unfortunately, always wanting more than what we have. We are most of the time not happy with what we already have. We want the next best thing. And that transcribes over to a woman's image also. Women want to feel beautiful in their man's eyes. No one else's eyes matter more than yours. She wants to feel radiant. She wants to feel special. She wants to feel important to you, while many others, including herself, can mirror her beauty to her, and she can feel beautiful, and her mom can think she's beautiful, and her coworkers at work can comment on how amazing she looks. The most important mirror is what you view her reflection to be. When she's in a relationship with you, she wants to feel beautiful in your eyes. Make her feel beautiful. Make her feel sexy and empowering. Yes, with age and time, the reality is a woman's body is going to change, just as a man's will. And I absolutely do not condone criticism or ridicule for such a thing happening to a woman's body. A woman's body can do far more than a man could ever even imagine. It is a powerful force. You wouldn't be here on this earth if it wasn't for a woman's body. She bleeds once a month. She carries children. She delivers new life. Her hormones will not remain the same they once were. Her metabolism will slow down. Her skin will start to wrinkle and sag. And that's a beautiful thing. It shows that we're living and that we are living life. With the stress their body endures, it is going to change. And a woman should be celebrated and loved regardless of her size and nothing less than that. A lot of times on Instagram and TikTok, I will see men commenting in the comments on women's bodies, or in discussion on video commenting on women's bodies. And it completely disgusts me because most of the time the men talking about these women's bodies and criticizing them and putting them down look like Shrek themselves. So who are you to comment on a woman's body? I think if anything, you need to be focused on your own body and image. But take that out of the equation. No one should be commenting on anyone's body unless it's positive, kind words. People discuss about how men age like fine wine and women don't age as well as men. This is like a common known fact. I'm sure you're all aware of this. And it's like no fucking shit. A woman's body goes through battle, and I don't think anyone should ever be commenting on a woman's body. It's baffling when I see it happen. And I think a lot of men need to understand you have no place to comment on a woman's body. Men, never stop trying in your relationships. People so easily get burnt out on the attempts of trying because we live in an age of instant gratification, which I have discussed in previous episodes. If you're interested in that, go listen. But romance, relationships, human connections, they're not instant. If you're looking for instant gratification within a relationship, you won't find it. And when you do find it, once that fire burns out, you're bored, it lost its spark, and you're back to square one. You'll be seeking an instant spark with someone else, and it will be great for a while until that fire also burns out. And the pattern will continue to repeat until you move beyond that. You will not find happiness, sustainability, or deep, meaningful connections with these attempts. Men sometimes pursue a woman heavily, and some men do not pursue at all anymore. I'm speaking because I have been in those situations many times. It's very rare to be pursued. Maybe that's just a me thing. Maybe everyone else is being pursued left and right. I don't have much experience with that. Wouldn't know what it's like. But when a man does pursue a woman, just because with time you get her, after you get her, months, years, perhaps you're engaged, now you're married, you should never stop trying to win over your partner and to keep things exciting. The second you stop trying is the start of your dying relationship. If you aren't going to be the one to try, someone else will. Someone else will pick up the slack. And if she doesn't feel pursued or valued in the relationship, why even be in that relationship? A woman would be better off alone at that point. Men are hunters. They are meant to hunt. But even after you have made the kill, you need to continue to hunt and pursue the same game over and over again. That is how you keep your relationship alive. You never stop trying. You should never give up or get lazy in a relationship. If more people tried, a lot more people would still be in a relationship. While being in a relationship, women are going to have goals. And regardless of her goals and career and who is the caretaker, she still wants you to be the man at the end of the day. And she wants to be the feminine woman she is. In the age of equality, many men assume that women no longer want chivalry or romance, and that is far from the fucking truth. Men think that women no longer want to be taken to dinner or have their doors opened for them or their chairs pulled out for them. Equality does not equal men being feminine. You still need to be a man. A woman may be in charge from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, but that does not mean she wants the same for her relationship. Women appreciate a man who is a man. Whether she's more soft and wallflower-like or more of an alpha, assertive female, women want a man to take charge. It's sexy, it's confident, it's great. A lot of times, more assertive females find it difficult to find a man who can take charge and will take charge. They're leaving the woman to take on a more dominant position. And just because a woman can do it doesn't mean she wants to do it. When a strong woman meets a strong man, she will be able to release her feminine side, which will naturally release because that man is taking on that role properly. On top of taking initiative and being a man, actions speak louder than words. Women judge men off what they say they are going to do and whether they actually follow through with it. Women need consistency and dependability. Mean what you say and say what you mean. A woman wants a man who appreciates her, plans dates, is dependable, and a man who is respectful. A man that understands a woman can be independent and still want to be treated like a princess, and she deserves to be treated like that. With that being said, masculinity does not mean trying to control your partner. You should not ever control your partner. I believe whatever that female did or whoever that female was before entering a relationship with you, for a healthy balance, she should continue to do those things. If you have insecurities with that, that's okay. We all have insecurities, but do not let your insecurities lead and control the relationship. And especially do not try to cage a confident, extroverted woman or just a woman overall. Because if you try to cage a woman and clip her wings, I'm telling you, they will not tolerate it, and it's just a matter of time until you'll be left alone. Women want a man to take initiative because it shows that the man is confident in himself and his abilities. It endures a woman he is self-assured and capable. It also shows he's responsible, reliable, and dependable because he can take charge and execute. Taking charge also shows leadership. When women struggle to make decisions, men can then execute the relationship and decisions where she may struggle. You know, like the popular question, what do you want for dinner? Well, I don't know. What do you want for dinner? Well, I don't know. No. Just execute. You choose. You make the decision. In addition to taking charge, this goes for the bedroom, please her before you please yourself. It's not a secret that men are much easily aroused and satisfied in sex. Men can literally fuck a glory hole. That's why they exist. They can really get off on anything. You don't ever see women in movies, fucking apple pies like American Pie, or, there's not the female version of a glory hole, and I think there's kind of a reason for that. Women need to first be connected mentally before they can be physically, and that is why mental stimulation and foreplay is so important for women to feel connected and enhance her sexual experience. It is extremely selfish when a man is only focused on his needs and getting himself off in the bedroom. And I'm telling you, after the act is done, there will not be a round two, and she will not speak highly of you to any of her friends. When a man takes the time and commitment to satisfy a woman in bed, it shows their maturity, it shows their experience, it shows that they are selfless, and it shows that they care, and they care about her experience just as equal as their own. So, take that time in the bedroom. There's no rush. You have as much time as you want. But for the love of God, please her before you please yourself. It takes so much more time for a woman to even begin to enjoy a sexual experience. Yes, occasionally there's going to be quickies, and that's fun and games and all. But when you are really taking that time, take the time. Also, be open about any sexual desires or fantasies you may have. Just as you should never stop trying in your relationship, you should never stop trying and exploring in the bedroom. Do not let intimacy become routine. Be open and direct with different experiences you'd like to try. Maybe it's different locations you'd like to try. Toys, lubes, positions, role play. 'Cause who doesn't want to play nurse and patient? And you may be more surprised to know that your partner is interested in trying more than you thought they would. Men and women should both be open when it comes to sharing ideas on how to keep the bedroom fun and exciting. I think a lot of people's relationship, actually not I think, I know that a lot of people's relationships fizzle out and they're sex life also really suffers because they're keeping things so kosher and routine. It's like 8 o'clock in the bed. They have sex. Next day, 8 o'clock in the bed. Life is too short for boring sex, okay? So get out there. Go to a sex shop together. They're super fun. It's like a wonder emporium. You'll see things that you didn't even know exist. And it's a fun activity to get your mind flowing about what could be done. Try different loops, try different positions. Just try things. You'll be shocked to find out that you probably enjoy some things that you didn't necessarily think you were going to enjoy. So keep an open mind. And I like to say, don't knock anything until you try it at least once. And that goes for your vegetables as well. And also being vocal about your sexual desires and fantasies and communicating that is sexy because it shows that you're confident in speaking about intimate matters. But do respect boundaries and relationships and do not try to overstep a boundary. That is a lack of respect when you do so. When it comes to more serious conversations, there is a time and place to do so. Yes, I agree. And that should be in private. But do not ever try to embarrass or ridicule your partner in front of others. Don't put them down. Don't belittle them in front of others. Save it for a private space. Apart from your partner, treat everyone with respect. Waiters, valet, drivers. Women, pay attention to how you treat those not close to you and those who do not benefit you. This shows her how you will treat her or others that you do not hold a relationship with. If you are nice to her, your family, her family, y'all's friends, but rude and passive to any of the previous people I just mentioned, that's not genuine kindness. It's select kindness. Women want someone overall who is genuinely kind. Another thing that stands out greatly to women is who you are with your friends. You know the famous saying, birds of the same feather flock together. Well, I agree with that statement. And I definitely pay attention to who a guy is when he's with me one-on-one and who a guy is in a group setting with his boys. Because sometimes you'll think it's two totally different people, but who that person is in different experiences or how they act with their friends, that is who they are. So men, just remember, we pay attention to how you act to strangers, how you act to service workers, and who you are with your friends. Because it shows us overall who you are as a person. Are you genuine, or do you put on different acts for different people? We're coming to the end here, and I want to leave off with one thing. Women desire security, and with security comes financial stability. It is what it is. It provides stability and comfort. Women do care about money, and they should. All average women care about money. They should care about it, and I don't see a problem with them caring about it. Just as men have values that they look for in their partner, women need the comfort that their man can provide and protect for her and their future family. Men may ask, well, why does a woman need security from a man when we are in times where they can provide it for themselves? That's not the point. Maybe they can provide it for themselves, but this just goes back to what I was saying previously about being a man. And it also comes down to the biology of being a man. And also, I would think with the male ego, you would want to be able to provide and protect for your woman and your future children. So regardless of times being modern, it's the primal instincts of how gender roles come into play. So with all of these factors in consideration, it adds to the man playing the role of a man and embracing his masculinity in providing and protecting, which then adds to the ability for a woman to view this man as a lifelong partner. When a man can and knows how to take care of a woman, their level goes up in a woman's book. If you are not where you want to be financially, that's okay. There's no judgment or shame around being financially set. But then you may not be able to provide in the ways you hope to provide in your relationship and may need to focus on yourself until you can get to the point where you are comfortable providing for your relationship. That whole section is probably going to trigger a lot of men. I'm ready for the hate comments if they come my way. But I have never had a conversation with a man who is financially secure be offended or disagree with that statement. And by financially secure, I don't mean you have to be rolling in with millions of dollars a year, but you have to be comfortable with yourself and able to take on and provide for another human. Because a woman, when she is seeking a partner, yes, she may be able to provide for herself, but when she gets in a relationship with you, she wants to be provided for and protected. And she is also thinking about your future family. And life's expensive. Kids have to go to school, groceries, clothes, doctor's visits. It is so expensive to live in this day and age. So I don't think that is morally wrong for a woman to have that in consideration when looking for a lifelong partner. To wrap things up, I encourage you men to do further research on how to best understand women and be the best man that you can be. It is only going to help you in the long run. You will be setting yourself up for success in your relationships with women. And the better understanding you have on what women want and how their mind works, you're going to be ahead of all the other guys. You're going to be ahead of all the other people. So it's actually really doing you a service, because if you know how to understand women, please women, communicate with them, you're already ahead of the show. We covered, I feel like, some important topics and key points in this episode. What women want, how women communicate, how women think and feel, to be open with your communication and to never lie, to be transparent and forthcoming, to be open with any sexual desires or fantasies you may have, because you may be shocked. She may be interested in doing more things than you ever thought she would be interested in. The role playing of being a man and providing and protecting, and why financial security does matter. Because it just does. And it's also okay if you're not to that place that you want to be yet. There's nothing wrong with that. We all have to become the best versions of ourselves before getting in a relationship with someone else. I appreciate you greatly listening to this episode. I invite you guys to leave feedback, leave a review down below. Any questions that you may have, you can leave them. Any questions that you may have, you can email me at the email in the description, or reach out to me on social media, which is also in the description. I may be single, but I do know what women want. So, take my advice or don't take it at all. But either way, thanks for listening.
Before we get back to reality, if you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, you're iconic. But before we part ways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, don't be shy and leave a review. Thirsty for more? Follow Dirty Datini on Instagram and TikTok at Dirty Datini. Oh, and just remember, we're on this journey together. Until next time, stay dirty and stay flirty.